Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the GAMO Swarm Fusion 10x.
Just start. We'll finish.
Quick finishing pass, not too bad, and I'll probably do that.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. He's safe, have fun on the range. So the first thing I just wanted to remind everyone is that certain high-power air rifles and pellet rifles are outlawed in certain counties, municipalities, states. Just check with your local laws to make sure that you're not doing something that could potentially get you in trouble. Also remember the safety aspect. These high-powered pellet rifles can actually hurt or kill someone if hit in the right spot, so just keep that in mind. These GAMO pellet rifles are made in Spain. They come with a 5-year warranty, and generally speaking, you can find them for $275. Now, this particular rifle is gauged more toward hunting rather than target shooting. There's two different calibers that these come in, 22 caliber and 17 caliber, and I went with the 22 caliber on this one for two reasons. One, the weight. Generally speaking, you can get around 14.5 grains of weight for those pellets, and the 17 caliber pellets, you'll generally see around 7.5 grains of weight. Also, with the sound suppression system on the front, these are advertised at going 975 feet per second using BPA Platinum in the 22 caliber. Using the 17 caliber model, you'll see these feet per second go up to 1,300 feet per second, and then you gotta kind of deal with the crack of the atmosphere when you're splitting through it. That happens around 1,100, 1,150 feet per second. Going at the front of this, talking about some of the features, you do have a steel orange fiber optic hooded sight, and we do have the Whisper Fusion dual integrated sound suppression technology, and this basically means that there is a conical 6-port chamber for the expanding gases to decompress into before exiting the muzzle, and it does actually work really well. The barrel shroud around this is a polymer fluted shroud. Inside the barrel is 10 land and 10 groove 22 caliber, obviously. The rear sight you can see is a green fiber optic steel sight that has both windage and elevation screws so you can zero it in. On the back here is the 10x Gen2. Now the Gen2 just means that it's lower profile to the barrel. And basically what this is, it's a semi-automatic pellet loading system on a rotary style carrier. And you can see, if this camera would focus, there we go. I have 8 pellets left in this particular cartridge. You can load these on the fly by just rotating this and then throwing another pellet in. Then you'd have 9. You can see how the counter goes up and down. Or you can carry other different magazines, I guess is what you'd call them, rotary magazines in here. By just pushing these 2 tabs forward, we'll take out the rotary magazine. And you can have different types of ammunition or just more ammunition on your person. By installing the rotary magazine, you just slip it into the rear and then depress the front until you hear the click. GAMO also provides you with a 3x9x40 scope, dovetailed into a 3/8 dovetail on the action. Now this scope isn't the nicest scope in the world, but at least it's the right price, free. The action is mounted into a polymer chassis, and you'll notice that this nice stimpling on the foregrip and the pistol grip. The length of pull from trigger to butt is 14.5 inches, and there's a nice rubber butt pad on this as well. Some models do have an adjustable cheek riser on this. This one's just a standard. Which brings us to the trigger system on this GAMO. This is called their CAT, or Custom Action Trigger System. This is a 2-stage adjustable trigger and can be adjusted all the way down and below 3 pounds. Now I don't recommend that. They only recommend going down to about 3 pounds, and that's for drop safety. Now there's 2 different screws inside this trigger. Let's actually get this to a point where you can see it and I can explain how the adjustments work. Now here's a closer look at GAMO's CAT, or Custom Action Trigger. Notice that there's 2 ports here. There's a front port and a rear port. The front port has a 1/2-inch Allen key that you can go through the trigger guard up into, and by adjusting this clockwise, it will reduce trigger travel for the first stage. The Allen key back here will reduce trigger travel on the second stage, and by adjusting these, you'll actually make the trigger lighter or heavier. So let's do a quick trigger test, and I can show you where this trigger is. Now I've already adjusted this trigger. I think I got it around 3 pounds. We'll do another check here with a trigger pull test. And this is the safety. Back is for safe, forward is for fire. I have made sure that there's no pellets inside here. Here's a trigger gauge. I'm gonna just put this right where my finger normally relies on the trigger. And we're right at 3 pounds, so I'll probably keep it right there. So now, let's get this out and let's do some, let's shoot at some plates and see what kind of groups we can get out of this. Do keep in mind that this is for hunting and not target shooting. All right, so a really quick word about scope quality. If you ever want to know whether you have a good scope or a bad scope, you can always take a bottle cap that has a dot matrix code. Coca-Cola is great because they actually have this blue tint, and if you can actually read the dot matrix out and figure out what it says on your scope from, let's say, if you put this at 10 yards, then you know you got a quality scope. And I'll do the test really quick here so you can get a feel for what kind of scope this is, and a more high quality scope that I can actually read this dot matrix.
All right, so looking through the scope, the GAMO scope, you can see that it's pretty pixelated and I can't even remotely read what that dot matrix code is.
Now, I feel I should mention that you should also go to the lower right side of your screen and make sure that you're on 1080p and that the server that you're actually watching this video on actually gives you 1080p. But this is a high quality piece of glass. You can actually read all the dot matrix letters and numbers off. This is at the exact same distance that the GAMO scope was on. So now you can really see the difference. In fact, on the GAMO scope, I even had to zoom in just to be able to see the cap. So this should give you some sort of idea. So when you're looking for high quality glass, bring one of these bottle caps in to whatever store you're looking at scopes at and see if you can read this dot matrix. Trust me, it'll pay off in the end. Okay, so we got this set up here in the backyard. We do have the GAMO sitting here in a plastic shooting sled. The ammo we're going to be using is the GAMO Magnum Energy Country hunting ammunition. This is 15.42 grains, and we'll see what that can do. I just did a few velocity tests. There's 4 targets set up downrange at 25 yards, and we're getting around 676, 678 feet per second off of those. So I'm probably going to put you in the spotting scope right there so you can see what we're doing, and we'll be shooting at the top 3 from left to right targets. All right, so I'm sure you guys already seen the different targets, but let's go take a look and measure them and see what kind of group size you're going to get at 25 yards using that particular rifle and that particular ammunition. All right, so here's the first target that I just did a bunch of velocity stuff, and basically we were getting about 675, 680. Sometimes it was around 650, I think was the lowest I'd seen. And that's pretty much it. That's all I really have to report on the velocity. Here's the first target. Looks like this is going to be our biggest spread between these two. Let's get the center to center. Looks like that is going to be right at 1.4 inches. Second one didn't do as spectacular. Looks like that is 1.834. Oh, sorry. Put it in the view there. And this third one was actually not bad at all. Honestly, I think it was our best. Let's see what we got. Center there. Nope, but that's going to be our. Yeah. All right, so and that one is going to be 0.796. Oh, sorry. There again. Trying to read it for myself, not for the camera. So that's pretty much what you're going to get with this particular air rifle, and yeah, it's really fun to operate. It is a break open action, like I was saying, but that, I gotta tell you, that 10x, just loading up 10 pellets and having them just right on the fly ready to go is really, really nice.
So I really think that this is an impressive air rifle. I really do think that 3/4 of an inch at 25 yards is definitely acceptable for a hunting style rifle, especially from the GAMO Fusion Swarm. And remember that loose is fast, brakes only slow you down, and some things that look like toys are definitely not toys. Remember to be safe, have fun on the range, and we'll see you next time.